How to create a work order. As per the previous tutorial, we have seen how to create a work request. So here we can see how to create a work order directly without creating a work request, and how to convert a work request into a work order. So to create a work order, we have to go under maintenance section, work order. So here, this is the page where we can create a work order. So this is a list view of creating a work order where we can see the information with the work order ID, the description, the workflow which we have used, the location, asset, and the work request ID. So to create a work order, we have to click on the right side top button plus work order, and here we can use the option of selecting it is a facility based request or an asset based request. So the user will be mapped into a specific workflow type. So this facility and asset is mentioned as a workflow type. So whenever a user is getting created, we have to map them under a facility or under asset. So if we are marking them under asset, when we click work order, it will directly show the asset page. So in case if the concerned users will also create a facility based request, then we can switch over to the option called facility and create a facility based work order. This provision is available since asset management companies, the work request and the work order can be created. But here, when a work order is created, the asset based management companies, they will create a work order when a asset is not working to address the challenge. In case if the concerned peoples have to raise also a facility based work order, then they can choose the facility and create the work order. So here, by choosing the asset, we can select the account name, the location, the asset, and the workflow name. So here we can choose the workflow name and we can see the first form of the workflow here. So this is the first form of the workflow which has already been created. So these are all the basic information, that is priority and description. The other informations, from here the informations are created using the dynamic workflow option, which it is available in the Cryotos application. So we can create a dynamic workflow as per the business requirements. So here we can choose the priority, the description, and we can set the breakdown date, the rating, if video is required. Here we can keep our signature as a default. We will inform this signature default option in the upcoming tutorials. So we can also add images if required. So all these fields like date of breakdown, rating, video, signature, image, these are all the dynamic fields which are created in a workflow. So here you could see of adding parts and adding labor task. So add parts and labor task is the one. When you create a work order, if you have to update any parts to the concerned work order, that is you have used a part which helps to repair the problem. So here the chiller is not working. So in this place you have to use a part which is required here. So you can click add parts and you can choose the part which has been used here. So if we are using a part, you can choose the part and you can mention the quantity. So this data is captured by creating an inventory master in the Cryotos application. So when you create an inventory master, so the data is being driven from the inventory master. So you can add the parts and save it. In case to do the breakdown process, if you are having additional labors, that is the labors which are coming from the outside, not the current employees or the current labors of the concerned organization. So in that case, if you have to mention the labors and the cost which has taken part to do the breakdown, so you can add the labor task and you can choose the name here. You can just inbuild the name in the application and you can choose the name, their login time, their logout time, and the description. So you can add the labor task and save it. So you can create this add parts and add labor in all the different type of forms you are maintaining. So the work order has been taken place by using a different type of workflows which we maintain. So this is the place how to create a work order. So you can create the work order by adding the informations and you can submit it to the next form. So the dynamic workflows has been created by using different type of forms, that is called the workflow. That is, a breakdown has to be created by a end user that should be addressed by the supervisor and it should be submitted to the technician to complete the breakdown process, and the final manager or the same supervisor can approve it and close it. So this is the flow. So the flow has been created into the application using the workflow dynamic which we are having. So if you click submit to technician, you can choose the name here and you can submit it. So here you can see who are all the labors which are available and who are all the labors which are occupied with other works. So you can choose the name and you can submit. So this goes to the technician and the same process goes on. The technician completes the task. He submits to the next person, that is the manager or supervisor, for approval. So here you can see the status, whether it is in WIP or it has been exceeded, that is overdue. So this is the list page of a work order. So here we can filter the work orders using the workflow group and the workflows. So workflow group is the item which we are creating while we create a workflow. So you can choose the workflow type and you can see the different type of work orders which are created based on the particular workflow group. So workflow is the checklist which you are creating to do the particular activities. So you can choose the particular workflows and see what are all the breakdowns that has been happened. Also, we have an option to search by the ID, work order ID or description to identify the accurate and the correct work order ID or description. Also, we have an option of voice search. So you can search this ID or description using the voice search which is available in the application. So here you can see the chart which shows you the monthly overview. So what are the top 5 workflow based work orders? So this work orders which are based on the top 5 workflows, that is damage repair procedure, sample breakdown and breakdown. So and others. And you can see raised versus closed work order count. So if how many has been raised and how many has been closed. So this is a chart which helps us to see the monthly overview based on the top workflows. So here we have a filter option to see based on the work order creator, work order updater, the different type of priorities, location, status, raised by user. The user who have raised the work order, created the work order, asset name, account name, and the assigned user. Assigned user when a work order is created and the first form has been completed and assigned to the next user. In case if you keep an attachment in the work orders, then you can toggle on the option and see what are all the work orders which has the attachment. So you can use this filters and take the concern reports. So when you see a created work order, to do the second form, here you will have an update option to update it. So once a work order has been created, so this is the detailed view of the work order which has been created. You could see the request key, the asset name, breakdown, status, priority, account name, the assigned user, the location, and the description. So here this is the progress panel where you can see the timeline of the each process held. And this is the part if you are missing to add the parts or labor task or any additional cost to be included, then you can add in this progress panel using the add parts, add labor task and add additional cost. So we will explain in detail about the invoice process in the upcoming tutorials. So here is the option to attach any type of document which is required for this particular work order. That might be others. We can set up the file type and we can add those documents. So this is a comment option. So here you can give a comment and that can be viewed by the person who is using the application, who are the registered users of the application. So you can send it to the registered users by typing @ So when you place the @ you could see the different type of names which are the persons who are available. So you can just type the name and you can mention a comment and you can send them. So you can send. So like this you can do the comments option. Like this is the communication in between the persons who are the registered users of application through the Cryotos app. So here this is called asset downtime. So the asset downtime can be done when you close the work order. So when the work order gets closed, so during that time we can mention the asset downtime. That is to know the accurate downtime of the asset. So whenever we do the work orders, when we submit form by form, we could see the system time. So the application time will be captured, the time of your system. So physically would have been done the work, might be it would have been taken 1 hour or 2 hours or 5 hours to complete the work. So during that case, we have to take the physical timing which has been taken to complete a work order. So that option can be done using the asset downtime tracking. So here you can add the asset downtime tracking when a work order is getting closed. So you can mention the time, the system will pop up a message and you can give a asset downtime date. In case if the asset downtime is not being captured during the close of work order, you could add the asset downtime here by mentioning the start time, the downtime, the root cause, and the corrective action. So you can create and you can submit it. Also, we have an option. This reassign option would be provided for the super admins of the application who could reassign to a different user in case if the particular user is held up with other works, they can reassign to a different person. So I'm just reassigning here. So the reassignment has been done since the super admin only can do this. So as per earlier information, you could do the update, that is the second form update by the technician. So you can give the update. So here you can play and pass the work orders. So this feature will be explained in detail in the upcoming tutorial. So here you can see already you have been working in a work order. So the system asks you, do you want to pass it and continue here? So you can just mention pass and continue. So your old previous work order which has been assigned for you has been passed. So here you can mention the technician form, whether the problem is solved or not, the YY analysis, the machine uptime, and the other details also you can add it here. So once it has been completed, you can submit it for the manager approval, or you can keep it as a draft. If you have to do the physical work, you can keep it as a draft and you can do it. So these are all the different button actions which can be customized as per the business requirements. So submit for manager approval. So here you can submit it for a particular manager to approve it. So once it is submitted for manager approval, you could see the manager could see the previous forms. So here we can reassign to close the work order. So now you can, as a manager, you could update. You can mention the manager comments and you could close it. So while closing, as I told in previous, if you are asset based user and the asset downtime to be captured, so this asset downtime capturing should be enabled in the workflows. So if you enable, there will be a toggle button to enable whether the asset downtime need to be captured. So here you can calculate the asset downtime by entering the actual start time, the actual downtime, the root cause, so you can mention the root cause, corrective action, and you can submit it. So once submitted, you can close the work order. So your work order is getting closed and the status would be changed as closed work order, and you could download the report here, or you can click the work order and in the detail page you would have the option to download the reports. So this is a process of creating a work order and fully completing a work order. So work request is the part which is being created by the end users who are in front of a machines or in the fields. So they have to just address the problem. A work order is an option which is being used internally. So here the internal persons of the users inside the complete organization. So if they are going to maintain their particular company and the work order has to be created, they can use the work order option. Instead of creating a work request and converting into a work order, the work orders can be directly created. Mostly the work request option will be used when it comes under the field service or the end users the laborers, the technicians who is in front of a machine, they have to just intimate the problem that something has been happened. So that type of problems can be raised using the work request. So work order, so here you're going to maintain the organization internally. So you are the person and you're going to just create a work order and you can submit it to the technician and you can say them to complete the task and send it for the manager approval. That would be a very simple process. So that process can be done by using creation of work order. So here we have a calendar option to see the details of work order. So here you can see the work orders which has been created. This can be viewed in a monthly basis, weekly basis, daily basis, the day-to-day activities of a single day, a list view, and here we have the filter option to see the different type of filters based on the user or user group, the location, assert, workflows, and the account name. So coming back to convert a work request into a work order. So the request is created by a end user who is in front of a machine or in the particular place where the facility management where he could see or they could see the something has to be cleaned immediately due to any person's arrival. So in that case, a work request will be created by the end user who are at the exact place of the problem happening. So they can create a work request and the request can be converted into a work order by the supervisors or the persons who handle the second level persons. So they can see the request and they can convert into a work order. So the supervisors or the second level people can see the work request and they can convert the work request into work order. So here is the option to convert a work order, or in case if the request which is created is not correct, the supervisor will have the provision to reject the work request. So if he is choosing the convert to work order option, the work request can be converted into a work order. So here you can fill those details and you can submit it to the technician. So this is the same process like creating a work order is where you directly create a work order, fill the first form of your workflow and submit it to the next person who have to handle the task. So a work request which with details created on the basic details and you can click on the work order and then you can convert it into a work order. So this is the process of creating a work order and how to complete the full work order using a sample workflow called the breakdown and how a work request can be converted into a work order. Thank you.